The sky was a canvas of swirling, fiery hues as the drop pod descended through the thick, turbulent atmosphere of the war-torn planet. Inside, the clanking of metal and the rhythmic chanting of the Marines' prayers filled the tight space, echoing off the crimson-lit walls as the pod neared the surface. The serene silence was shattered by an unexpected barrage of alien artillery, the impacts resonating through the hull like a series of hammer blows. The pod lurched violently, throwing the Marines against their restraints. The pilot's voice crackled over the intercom, a curt warning of the impending emergency ejection sequence. The Marines braced themselves as the pod's side panels blew outwards, the harsh winds of the planet's surface screaming into the cabin. The world outside was a blur of smoke and flame, a stark contrast to the mechanical calmness of their transport mere moments ago. With a deafening roar, the Marines were expelled into the chaos, their armor systems automatically deploying their jetpacks to stabilize their descent point one by one. They hit the ground, the impact jolting through their bones despite the dampeners. The Bloodangels, a squad of 10, regrouped quickly, the sergeant's voice booming over the Voxcom. Brothers, we're scattered but not broken. Recon the area, find the enemy's weakness, and strike with the fury of the Emperor. Their booted steps crunched against the shattered earth, each Marine scanning the horizon with heightened senses, honed by millennia of warfare. The planet's air was thick with the scent of burning promethium and the acrid tang of alien blood. The horizon was a jagged line of ruins, the remnants of a once mighty fortress complex, now reduced to twisted steel and shattered stone by the relentless onslaught of the enemy. A piercing shriek split the air, the unmistakable cry of a Xenos warrior. The Bloodangels' eyes narrowed, their grips tightening on their weapons. The sergeant's hand shot up, silencing the squad as they took cover behind a toppled wall. The sound grew closer, accompanied by the thud of heavy footsteps. They had found their foe, the dreaded Tyranids, creatures of the hive mind, swarming across the galaxy to consume all in their path. Emerging from the smoke and dust, a towering hive tyrant reared its monstrous head, its biomechanical limbs bristling with weaponry. The sergeant's gaze hardened as he recognized the creature's insignia. It was a warrior of the Kraken's spine brood, known for their ferocity and adaptability. "Hold your positions," he ordered, his voice a low growl. "Let's see what this beast brings to the fight." The Tyranid's head swiveled, its myriad eyes searching for the source of the disturbance. As it spotted the Marines, a chorus of alien hisses and clicks filled the air. The sergeant signaled with a hand gesture, and the Bloodangels sprang into action. They moved as one, their jetpacks flaring with power, leaping over the debris to encircle the creature. The sound of bolters firing was a symphony of destruction, a cacophony that seemed almost in harmony with the alien's shrieks. The hive tyrant retaliated with a sweep of its scything talons, sending a shower of rubble into the air. A Marine roared in pain as the razor-sharp blades tore through his power armor. But he was not alone. The squad's assault cannon opened up, its heavy bolts slamming into the creature's torso. The hive tyrant stumbled but did not fall, regenerative fluids seeping from the wounds. "Keep firing," the sergeant bellowed. "Don't let it call the swarm." But it was already too late. The creature's shrieks had pierced the air, summoning a horde of lesser Tyranids. The Bloodangels were now surrounded by a sea of chitinous horrors, the ground trembling beneath their approach. Amidst the chaos, the sergeant felt a surge of power, a sudden vision of Sanguinius, the founder of their chapter, in his fiercest battle. The image burned into his mind, igniting a rage that surged through his very soul. With a roar that matched the hive tyrants, the sergeant charged forward. His power soared a blur of silver in the flickering light. The alien beast turned to face this new threat, its talons poised to strike. The sergeant met its gaze, his eyes alight with the crimson of the great angel. For a heartbeat, the monster seemed to falter, sensing something primal and terrifying in the human's fury. The battle was a whirlwind of steel and teeth, bolters blazing and chain swords whirring. The Bloodangels fought with a ferocity that belied their numbers, each blow a testament to their unyielding loyalty to the Emperor and the memory of their lost Primarch. The sergeant danced around the tyrant, his every move a deadly ballet of precision and rage. chipping away at the creature's exoskeleton. The tyrant's retribution was swift and brutal. With a snarl, it lunged, talons flashing. The sergeant barely dodged, the wind from the attack sending a chill down his spine. He countered with a mighty swing of his sword, which the creature blocked with a forearm studded with bone spikes. Sparks flew as the two wills clashed, the air thick with the smell of burning flesh. The sergeant felt his grip slipping, the weight of his sword seemingly doubling under the pressure of the tyrant's strength. Yet he pressed on, fueled by the memory of his brethren's valor in the face of overwhelming odds. His blade sliced through the creature's armor, a crimson line appearing on its hide. The tyrant roared in pain, but the wound sealed almost instantaneously, the hive mind's regenerative properties at work, above the din of combat. The sergeant heard the distant sound of thunderous footsteps approaching, the vanguard of the tyrannid swarm. He knew that if they were to survive, they would need to eliminate the tyrant swiftly and decisively. He called upon the ancient tactics of the Bloodangels, the very essence of Sanguinius's combat doctrine, and launched a daring counterattack. With a mighty leap, he vaulted over the tyrant's head, bringing his sword down in a devastating arc. The blade cleaved through the creature's neck, severing it with a spray of alien blood and a screech of rending metal. The tyrant's body collapsed with a thud, its head rolling to a stop a few meters away, dead eyes staring lifelessly at the squad. The sergeant landed gracefully, the weight of the battle momentarily lifted from his shoulders. The tyrannid horde, however, did not falter at the loss of their leader. If anything, the beasts grew more frenzied, their hunger for destruction undiminished. The Bloodangels formed a tight circle, backs to each other, and prepared to face the onslaught. Their bolters blazed in a constant stream of fire, each shot a prayer to the Emperor that found its mark. The air was a storm of shells and screams, the very earth trembling under the relentless assault. In that moment of chaos, the sergeant felt a strange kinship with the creatures before him. He understood the rage that drove them, the unquenchable thirst for battle. Yet he knew that he served a higher purpose, one that compelled him to stand firm against the tide of darkness. He raised his sword, the light from its power field reflecting off the gleaming carapaces of the approaching monsters. "For Sanguinius!" the Marines shouted as one, their voices a battle cry that echoed across the wasteland. The sergeant's blade arced through the air once more, cleaving through the first rank of tyrannids. The battle was far from over, but in the heart of the chaos, the Bloodangels had found their strength. They would not yield, not even in the face of the alien hive's unending rage. They were the Emperor's finest, and they would fight to the last breath to defend the Imperium. The squad moved in a whirlwind of death, their bolters a relentless tempest that cut through the swarm of lesser Xenos. Each strike of their chain swords was met with a spray of alien gore, painting the ground a ghastly tableau of crimson and black. The sergeant's power sword sang a song of carnage, a silent hymn to the great angel whose spirit burned within them all. The tyrannids fell like wheat before the reaper, their ferocity no match for the Marines' discipline and skill. Yet the horizon grew darker, the thunderous footsteps of the incoming swarm shaking the very ground beneath their feet. The sergeant knew that to stand their ground was to invite a swift and grisly end. He signaled a retreat, the order relayed through the Voxcom with a sense of urgency. The Bloodangels disengaged, their movements precise and efficient, each step retreating a testament to their unyielding discipline.